What's good, Ravens fans? It's your boy JG back with another reaction. Today, we are going to react to the Rich Eisen show, talking about fully guaranteed contracts and whether another team will do it. This is a big deal in Ravens land because if another team does it, then Lamar is going to be standing on his ground. If another team doesn't do it, then Lamar may give us a discount. We will see. Let's get it.
Let's talk about quarterbacks now. That's what we always focus on. Derek Carr is a free agent. At some point, Aaron Rodgers will emerge with a decision for Green Bay. And then this is the time where Burrow gets paid and Herbert gets paid. And those teams are now going to have to figure out how to win championships with their contracts being of market value in the quarterback market. Hurts is due for a contract. And then there's always what's going on with Lamar Jackson. Which domino do you see tumbling first here?
Well, I mean, Derek Carr gets a head start on the open market. He's available to sign with anyone right now. Aaron Rodgers can't be traded until the league year begins. Now, they could work it all out ahead of time.
Right.
And none of the free agents are available. Lamar Jackson can't be in a position to even discuss anything with another team until free agency. First, we have to see whether or not the Ravens apply the franchise tag. I assume they will. I don't think they'll work out a long-term deal. And then the question is, will it be the exclusive tag or the non-exclusive tag? Non-exclusive lets him go out and shop himself to other teams and look for that 5-year fully guaranteed Deshaun Watson type structure. But Rich, one thing that I continue to advocate, and I feel like the time for it has come, and maybe Joe Burrow is the one to get it because maybe Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, is sufficiently willing to go against what the league wants teams to do. I think one of these quarterback contracts needs to be tied to a percentage of the salary cap. Long-term, X percent, 13, 14, 15, 16%. You have certainty not in dollars, but you have certainty in percentage of dollars.
I don't think that's a good idea. Again, it's so weird to me. This is the weirdest thing. How is that not more revolutionary than a fully guaranteed contract? Because this is what you want. This is what you want these quarterbacks and these players to do. You want these players to sign. Oh, you're going to get 15% of the salary cap unless you get hurt, and then you get nothing. Unless you get hurt, and then we can cut you before March 3rd, and you don't get anything. That's what you want them to sign, and that's just not right. Again, pay them for what they're worth. That's it. As simple as that. You want to do all this other fancy stuff. Why don't you just give Joe Burrow 4 years fully guaranteed? You know, here you go, Joe. 4 years fully guaranteed. Bing, boom, bop. You know, if you get injured again, which you have been injured before, then we'll go our separate ways, like they do in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not great, to be honest. It's just not great, and I don't like that idea.
Cents on the dollar that go to your quarterback and the rest that's available for the rest of your team, because there's a balance to be struck. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to be the next big test of this because he could push for $45 million or more. Will he do that? Will he put the team in a position where they've got less money available to put talent around him? Will he take the Peyton Manning approach, which was basically, it's my job to maximize my income, it's your job to manage the salary cap? And players get put in this very difficult position, and Sims and I were talking about this today on PFT Live. Mm-hmm. The owners love it because the fans never say, hey, owners, you're doing just fine. Hey, owners, you need to figure this out. Hey, owners, you need to take care of these highly talented players that we are showing up to watch and tuning in to watch and deserve to get more, while you all get plenty and you're riding around in your $300 million yachts. You guys need to pump.
Now, listen, guys, me and Florio, we haven't been agreeing on a lot of things lately. Okay. However, he is 100% right. I do feel that, owners are people. I get that. But I can't feel bad for you when you're on your yacht. And most Americans have to go to work every single day at a job that they wish they could use to afford a yacht. I don't feel bad for you when you're making money, billions of dollars, not millions of dollars. You're making billions of dollars on Lamar Jackson, but you don't want to pay him $40 million a year when you're making $1 billion a year. You're making $100 million a year, but you won't give a quarterback $40 million a year. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now, again, of course, salary cap has some restrictions and things like that. So it's not all the fact that he doesn't want to pay it, but you got to figure it out. You got to draft better. You got to do something because Lamar Jackson is a primetime quarterback, and this is why you drafted him. So one day you could pay him. So one day you can win Super Bowls. So.
Pony up and pay. Mahomes is the one who should be the highest paid player in football, and he'll never ask for it, but he should be. I think the best way to get toward that path is to tie it to a percentage of the cap, and the best quarterbacks get that percentage, and as the cap goes up, their pay goes up, and however high the cap goes, that's how high their pay goes. And I think Burrow, I'm not saying he will, but Burrow may be in the best position to pull it off of any of the great quarterbacks we've seen. Some have tried. Darrelle Revis tried, couldn't do it. Kirk Cousins tried, couldn't do it. One of these days, someone's going to do it. And once we cross that bridge, hopefully it won't be an aberration like the Watson deal. Hopefully it'll be a sign of things to come because of all players on the field, the quarterback deserves that percentage.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Watson deal because as of right now, despite or in lieu of your theory there, what players are going to go for, it's the Watson. Let's get every dollar guaranteed. That as we all know has held up whatever's going on in Baltimore from being a long time relationship with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Anybody else? Do you see the Watson deal?
This is the real question. Thank you, Rich Eisen, for asking the real question. Because again, this tie to the cap, if it's not guaranteed, it doesn't matter. Guys, it doesn't matter, right? The issue that we have is not that, we're not getting fairly compensated based on whatever. The issue is that, hey, we play football, right? We had a man this season almost die on the field. But I can't get a fully guaranteed contract to make money for you, to provide entertainment for the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling that, to be 100% honest. So I think this is the real conversation here. So
roosting again this year in a way that it did not for Kyler in Arizona and Russ in Denver. What are you thinking? What are you hearing on that front?
I think the fact that neither Russell Wilson nor Kyler Murray got 5 years fully guaranteed draws a circle around Watson as an outlier.
Okay.
And the way Watson pulled it off, and this is one of the benefits of having an agent if you're Lamar Jackson. It's not just go negotiate the best possible contract.
Oh my gosh, guys. How many times am I going to hear this man, he must run an agency. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he run an agency. Jeez Louise. God, I get it, dog. I get it. You love agents. I get it. Lamar does it different. Okay, Roquan Smith did it different. Sherman did it different. Okay, God dang, boy, your cousin must be an agent or something. I don't. My Lord, I every time he's on the video, he says this. Every single time. Every single time. Look, I think that the simple fact is Aaron Rodgers is old. We know that Russell Wilson is older and Kyler Murray's not good. So those, to me, those don't do anything. I'm looking strictly at Joe Burrow. Whatever Joe does, that's the market in my opinion. So
an agent explains to Lamar how Deshaun Watson got his 5-year fully guaranteed contract, how he was able to convince the Texans to trade him, how he was able to lure 4 teams to the table to try to persuade him to choose them, how he was able to shrug the Browns to the side at the perfect time after they pissed off Baker Mayfield and they got desperate and they felt like they had to make a big move to get Deshaun Watson's attention again and swung back around with that 5-year fully guaranteed contract. There's a lot of planets that got to line up to get yourself in that spot, and it worked for Deshaun Watson. It's going to be hard for Lamar Jackson to do it. And what he's basically going to have to do, if the Ravens use that non-exclusive franchise tag, he's just got to say, hey, anybody out there, if you're interested, this is what I want. Let's see if somebody shows up. And I don't know that somebody's going to show up. All it takes is one team. But after the blowback the Browns got last year, it's going to take a lot, I think, to get a team to give up 5 years fully guaranteed and 2 first-round draft picks, which is what would be required if you make Lamar Jackson an offer that he accepts and the Ravens don't match it. And I'll be fascinated to see if somebody does it, because the league, the powers that be, management council, other owners, they were pissed off at the Browns for doing it. It'll be interesting to see if somebody else breaks ranks on that again this year.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day.
So, again, they were pissed off because they paid a player his worth. Fully guaranteed contracts are going to come sooner or later. Because if they don't, why would you? Again, I know the thing about football is it's a beautiful sport because every single person of every single body type can play it at a high level. If you're a big boy, you can play offensive, defensive line. If you're smaller but you got quick moves, you can play that slot receiver. If you're tall and fast, you can play wide out. If you're a guy who really doesn't have any talent other than throwing the football, you can throw the football and be a quarterback, right? If you can only kick the ball, you can be a kicker or a punter, right? That's the beautiful thing about football, is that it's super inclusive of every different type of person. Versus the NBA, which, if you're not tall, you almost can't play it, right? I mean, what percentage of NBA players are under 6 feet versus NFL players? What percentage of NBA players, are over 250 pounds, right? What percentage, of soccer players over 250 pounds? What percentage of soccer players aren't coming from wealthy families, right? So that's the thing about football that will make sure that it's always in here as an American sport. The issue, though, is owners are just, if you pay people what they're worth, make sure the contracts, and you can lock it in and manage the contract like baseball does, like the NBA does. And again, if people get hurt, then make something that the cap can be fixed, right? You don't want injuries. So maybe if you make it so that you make these guaranteed contracts, people will have better facilities. You won't have fields that have turf on there that are known for ripping people's knees up, right? All these things matter. So I'm disappointed that he doesn't think a fully guaranteed contract will happen. Again, whatever Joe Burrow does, that's what I'm looking at, because that is going to be the market setter. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you think. Subscribe and go Ravens.